How's it going, guys? Today is October the 9th, and we are chopping corn. I think this is the latest I ever remember chopping corn. Late planting and trying to get it drier for the silos made everything take longer this fall. Getting started, this field here is plenty dry. We know this is good. We're gonna get into some stuff that I'm not sure yet how it's gonna look. Might not be able to keep rolling today, but we gotta start, so we're gonna do that here, see what it looks like after a bit. Is it turning? Yes, so. It was about a month ago that we filled the first silo, did the first half of the corn. With these big uprights, we need to make sure we get it dry enough on the bottom, or else we'll squeeze a lot of the juice out of the silage. Makes a mess. It's hard on the concrete of the silos. There's different opinions on what moisture is the best for corn silage for feed. We used to think it's gotta be wet to make good feed. One of the reasons for that was in the bunker silos, to pack it well, you want a little bit more moisture there. Now with these uprights, we get such good packing with the gravity, and that's why we don't want it too wet because of how well it's packed. Even the dry stuff makes good feed, as long as it's not bone dry. I think we're gonna be okay. This should feed okay. It's just been a pretty steep learning curve going from the flat storage to the big uprights. We'd filled uprights in the past, just nothing this big. Trying to figure out what varieties of corn to plant and yeah, how to manage it. So I'm gonna go watch the chopper a little bit more. He's actually demoing a Klaus, I think it was a 960 or 970, a little bit of a bigger chopper, so get to see a different unit again this time. I was just riding in the chopper for a while. Got 30 carts filled out of the first field. Now they're switching to a different variety. Just like to check in here, make sure the unloader's still spinning. These silos, they're center fill. Gooseneck's taking the feed right up to the middle of the silo, and then it's slowly spinning there, distributing it to the outsides. Helps it to pack evenly, kind of max out the capacity, and it's just good for the walls to keep the weight nice and even. Takes 6 minutes and 18 seconds for the unloader to go around one time. we got through the third field now. There's actually a bald eagle flying right across there. Probably can't see it on camera, but that's really cool. I'm bringing out another jug of inoculant. Chopper just puts that in to help the feed ferment, stabilize quicker. My dad's running the drill, putting triticale in what we just harvested this morning. Yields are extremely strong, so we're gonna have a lot of extra corn, which is a good problem. But this stuff here, some nice looking corn. This stuff, it's known for making good digestible feed. It's not quite like a BMR, but it's got a lot of grain in it, big ears on it, and makes a lot of tonnage. So I'm pretty happy to see that. I was worried about it not being dry enough, but the fields of dry stuff we had for the bottom ended up yielding more than I thought, and we're already up past halfway in the silo. So we can get into this stuff that's over 60%, slightly over 60%, and it's not gonna matter for moisture. This is the last bit here at the home farm, and then we have 40 more acres at a rented farm. It's not gonna all fit in the silo. We're gonna get it full today, and I guess tomorrow we'll see if we can top it off, and we'll have to figure out what we want to do with the rest of the silage. It's a good problem. We don't really want to shell any corn. We'd rather chop it, so let's see what we want to do to make it fit somewhere. You can tell they're working a little bit faster with this bigger chopper. The blower's never waiting. There's always another tractor ready to pull in and start unloading. They're running 3 tractors right now, and they got a 4th one on the way for working at the other farm. Just some nice consistent corn. This field has a high spot on that end. It's a little bit thinner soil, and it dried out up there, but the rest of it looks really nice. See what I mean at the top end of the field? Just some sections that we had some drier weather late in the summer. Didn't have as deep of roots, shut down early, but it's mixing every pass. They're mixing down into the wetter corn at the bottom of the field. Worked out pretty well at the end here. I can hop inside, turn the switch on and off for the ring drive. Just told the chopper to quit. A couple more carts we're gonna fit in for today. That'll be it. So yeah, we're just gonna let it settle. We'll be able to fit a bunch more in tomorrow. That should be the last cart there. Morning, everybody. So it's the next day. I'm milking cows this morning. Almost down to 30s today, so it's the coldest morning this fall so far. Probably the low 40s right now. But I'm getting group 2 over. Gonna bed the barn up. I'll do this half of the barn after I get these cows out. Gonna be hoof trimming this morning, so we'll get to that after milking's done. Started wearing a dust mask when I'm getting cows over. My allergies get to me. Just a little bit of dust that comes off the beds is enough to have me sneezing and carrying on the rest of the milking. It just worked out that the Vector was gonna come through and feed this group about 10 minutes ago. I paused it because if it does that, then all the cows are up eating and you're trying to get them to go over to milk, and there can be a battle. So you can see they already saw it coming here. They're waiting for it. A lot of time there's a little bit of feed left when it's feeding, but it actually was off for an hour. See, they're empty. It was off for an hour before milking because the straw box got empty, so I need to fill that up. I went out and started it. There was a little bit there to keep it going. Cows are loving this weather. 40, 50 degrees is probably their favorite temperature. Not sure, because when I ask them, all they say is moo, but I just started the Vector back up. These cows will be able to come back to fresh feed then. He's just about wrapping up the hoof trimming. I got a part to stick back on here in the milking parlor. It's kind of a weak point on these swing arms. The whole thing pivots on this. This weld right here breaks. We've had it happen to 8 or 10 of them over the last couple years. Just right up here, it snaps off there. Our neighbor has a TIG welder for stainless steel. We can weld it up nice. I'm not really set up to do that, so I just took it down to him. He said he's welding them better than they were out of the factory. I'm not sure why it's not built a little bit stronger, or else we're too hard on them when we swing them across. should be good to go. So it's mid-afternoon. They're gonna be back tonight here to harvest the rest of this corn. This stuff looks pretty good. He cut into the field a little bit right at this spot. Not exactly sure why, but gives us an idea how it looks back through here. This stuff's 12 foot tall, big ears on it. If you're not familiar with my channel, we're making corn silage. This is the main ingredient in our dairy cow feed. It's just a really good feed for dairy cows. Really high yielding per ton feed costs as low as anything. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of fiber. Cows are able to digest. You got the grain, but then you have a lot of fiber from the stalk and leaves. So we're chopping everything up together. I'm gonna head back. I'll talk a little bit about what we decided to do then with the rest of this extra corn. It's kind of nice having extra feed for once. It's been a while since we've been in this spot. We had the silo full yesterday. It will have settled quite a bit. We should be able to get another 15 carts or so on top again tonight. So we're gonna do that first, and then that'll leave us with somewhere around 32 acres, I'm estimating, left to chop, which if it yields around 25 tons of the acre, that's gonna be over 600 tons of silage. So we had to decide what we wanted to do with that. Do we wanna make corn silage out of it, or we could also let it dry down more and shell it with a combine. We do feed corn, so we could grain bank that, save some costs. We'll have 2 full silos that way, which should be enough for the year. Last year we only had about 1 2/3. We did run a little short, so we needed more than that. We talked it over. We definitely prefer to have extra silage on hand versus just grain, because we can buy grain at any time. Corn silage is a little bit harder to buy in. It's not always available locally. You got to pay to haul it. It costs a lot more to move it. The other thing is, if we cut it for corn silage, we're getting it off the field now. We can get our treaded cow seeded in there for spring forage. Whereas if we let it go for grain, it's going to be later. There's going to be a bunch of trash in the fields. We either have to make corn fodder bales, or I don't know, it looks like the stalks are pretty green. I don't know if they'll dry down this fall. You just have a bunch of extra stalks in the fields that break down, which it's not a terrible thing. It's just, yeah, we were planning to get spring forage in there, so we'd rather get it all for silage. So yeah, if we have an extra 600 tons of silage, what do we do with it? We got the robot feeder set up to feed out of the silos. The one on the end we filled first. That one was full. We topped it off, and now we're feeding out of it. It's probably down, I forget, it's about 7 rings because it settled some more, and we've been feeding it for a few weeks. You know, we could top that one off completely. It still wouldn't all fit in there. Not too excited about that, just because we're already feeding out of some fermented silage in there. We have a certain variety that feeds well green like it was. That's coming through now. The cows are adjusted to it. I'd hate to cover that back up with feed. It'd be one thing if it would all fit in there on top of that, but it's not enough space anyway. What we decided we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a big ag bag, and then sometime this winter, once we have space in the silos, we'll go out and scoop it up, throw it in the silo. It's not something we have a lot of experience with, but it's definitely something people do. And you know, you're exposing the feed to oxygen some, so there'd be a little concern about loss of quality, but we'll treat it with some sort of acid probably and get it moved on a cold day. I think the extra feed is more valuable than any risk that we're taking by moving it. They'll be back tonight at some point. I'm not sure what time. We're gonna fill the silo up the whole way and then switch over to an ag bag. They're bringing a 12-foot bagger, 400-foot ag bag. Should be enough capacity for however much it makes. If it was a small amount, we would just put the bag in the bunker silo out of the way on the concrete, but it's gonna be too big for that. So we're just gonna stick it out there in the field. First field right beside the lane there. Not really worried about it being on dirt because we're not gonna be going out every day, so it's not gonna be muddy. We're just gonna do it when the ground is fit this winter on a cold day or something, scoop it up. We grew the same amount of acres as last year, and we had just under 3,000 tons last year. This year we have, looks like almost 4,000. We'll see how it works out, but it's gonna be a whole lot more feed. The other thing is we're adding 20 cows this fall, so we are gonna be milking some more animals. It's gonna take some more feed. So I like the idea of having plenty of forage. So it is 9:15 now in the evening. Still waiting on the chopping crew. They had some other jobs to work at today. I think originally he was thinking they'd be here by now, but they had some stuff slowing them down earlier. It's a downside not owning your own chopper. You can't chop exactly when you want to, but there's a lot of positives to it, so we just got to work with it a little bit. Just getting things ready to go. Got some inoculant mixed up. I have a couple guys that are gonna be here then to help level the silo off. We're gonna cover it. Plastic cover, some acid. My dad's gonna dribble that in to the blower the last 4 loads or so to treat the top of the silo to keep it from spoiling up there a bit, because we're not gonna be feeding it for a couple months. Yeah, probably a good 4 months it'll sit before we open it up. So I got a lot of questions about leveling these silos off. Why don't we just run the unloader in reverse? It's got that auger. They don't make them reversible. I don't know that it would really work because you would need the feed to be perfectly centered so that it would distribute it evenly, because usually you have a little bit more on the one side. So you wouldn't be able to get it perfectly level that way. You can run it in forward and just have it feed out, and slowly you can set it on automatic and it'll just lower itself every round a little bit. That would just take a while and you would throw a chunk of feed out, but that's one way you can level it off. With the robot feeder, sometimes there might be feed coming, then there'll be a while where it doesn't come and the system's gonna shut off if it doesn't have feed for a certain amount of seconds, whatever you set it. You almost have to just run the unloader manually with the robots out of the way. Catch it in the bucket of the skid loader and do something with the feed then, but it honestly doesn't take that long. If you have a couple guys, 2 or 3 guys with pitchforks, really is not bad leveling it out. You can set these silos up to feed right away. We don't want to do that because we're already feeding out of the one we filled 4 weeks ago. It's kind of a pain though, because it's going to be settling for a week or so every day. It's just slowly sinking down. So then if it settles too much, if there's a few hours where it doesn't mix the batch, then the feeder, it's going to turn it on and not get any feed. So then it's going to air out. You're going to have to come out here and baby it a bunch. And then you got gases up there the first, especially a couple days, but then even a week or 2, you got to be concerned about gas. Run the blower, try to air it out good before you go up there to change the doors. I really like just as soon as we're done filling it, let's level it out, cover it, and then we'll just stay out of the silo for at least a week. When we're harvesting, I shut the route towards the heifers and dry cows off so they're not crossing past where the carts are driving. And with this first silo, the blower actually sits on the robot path, so you can't even have it get past anyway. 6 to 9 month heifer group mixing right now. So we do have straw back in the ration. We were running hay for a while. Because we were short on forages, we were using hay, and you can use a little bit more hay. We kind of use this, usually straw. It's more of just something to dumb the ration down a little bit so we don't have too hot a feed for the heifer groups and the dry cows. And then right now we're running a little bit in the cow batch too because of how digestible the corn silage is. We're just trying to slow everything down a little bit. Yeah, this is just chopped straw. We got triticale running. This is our spring forage crop that we're seeding right now as soon as we're done harvesting, putting this in the ground. I usually get a couple comments saying that we're lazy farmers because we're not doing all of our own field work and everything. I get defensive when people accuse me of that, but maybe it's a little bit true. We're just trying to manage our operation the best we can with the people we have around here. Don't have a lot of young guys with a bunch of energy that want to work 20 hours a day, certain times a year. So my job is mainly just to be around here, make sure the farm's still rolling. Yeah, just keeping an eye on the silos, and if something breaks in the milking parlor, addressing that or whatever else is going on. It's not really flashy work like driving a chopper or something, but it's still important, I think. They're finishing up the evening milking right now. We milk 3 times a day. Evening shift starts about 7:45. So we hire a lot of part-time help for milking, and it's a huge help having young people that are available to milk cows. Mainly my responsibility to make sure we have 2 milkers here 3 times a day. My dad managed that for years. He kind of handed that off to me here a few years ago. It can be fairly easy. You make the schedule and sometimes it works really well, but there's days where we're short on help or for different reasons we are in a pinch, and I'm the guy that's here making sure it's going to get done one way or another. Sometimes that means I'm milking or texting people trying to find someone else to take a shift. Triticale's still running here. Some mineral, a little bit of soybean meal. So this is what we harvested a month ago. Yeah, it's got a lot of moisture to it. It's 65% moisture, the stuff we had on top, so plenty wet. 12-minute post mix or something on this batch. The batches that have more straw in them seem to mix a little bit slower. Just more fluffy stuff. Just fed the dry cows, one of the other heifer groups. It's got to feed that last heifer group yet. Got all the silo lights on already. Did not see one drop of juice since we filled this one. We had juices flowing out of this first one we filled. There's a little bit coming out of the doors up the chute. It's pretty nasty. And everything's just so sticky because you have that moisture in there and then the feed's falling down. And it's just a pain climbing up there. I actually was wearing my raincoat and milking gloves to climb that, to switch the door. Every time I'm climbing, I'm just thinking never again. We're not gonna let this happen again. Making sure the unloader's spinning there. I'm gonna head up pretty soon to watch it. So they got 4 carts running. It's a mile away. The nice thing about doing it in the middle of the night, we don't have to worry about traffic. So yeah, as soon as the silo's done, should have a bagger set up out here. I think they're on the way. They'll move right into the bag while we're leveling off the silo. It's a bit fuller than I thought it would be. I didn't check it before they started filling. Silo jack's a little bit different every time. I thought we'd be able to fit a little more on the top here, but whew, I was doing all I could to clear it out of the way for that last cart. So yeah, with it being center fill, we really get good packing. Fills up really well. The only thing with this distributor is I can't shoot it out to the edges here at the top. Talked about this a month ago when we were filling, but There it is. Add some of this, it's an acid product to help preserve it, is the idea. My dad was dribbling it on the last few loads there, but then brought the rest up and sprinkled it on top. So I'm gonna head down. Now we don't have gravity on our side, so we got to mechanically pack this stuff. This is a 12-foot bagger. It's a ram pack. We actually used it a little bit last year. It was a 10-foot bag, but now they got a 12-foot setup for it too. That is a beast of an ag bag. 2 ton per foot, they said. Jumps around a little bit, but apparently it uses a little less horsepower to run this style of bagger. Got a belt that feeds it back, and then said they just added those 2 alternates there, help force it down, and then blocks that alternate down there, pack it in, force it in like a plunger. Not running the demo chopper anymore. So this is his Klaus 850. Hey guys, so it is now Monday. Finished this bag up. It was Friday night, Saturday morning. They had a breakdown around 3 a.m. or so, and then got the chopper going again Saturday morning, finished the bag. I actually had plans for Saturday, so I took off before they were finished. My dad was around here. Wasn't much for me to do, but they got the rest of the silage in, just barely. The last would have been kind of nice if there was one less cart, because I've had to dig a few scoops out of the end. Taking 5 or 6 out, just trying to get enough room there to fold that up a little bit, put some dirt on the end to seal it. This is a 12 by 400 ag bag. Has about 750 or 800 tons in it. It's about exactly half of one silo. If we had filled a bunker, it would have fit in the one side one pretty good. A little bit easier to just make a bag out in the field here, and then this winter when it's cold, we'll cut the whole thing open, scoop it up, throw it into the silo. We'll get it out of the field before next year. Would not be fun feeding out of this every day because it's just a little bit wet out here today and it's already making mud. I'm trying to scoop out a little bit there, so it's not a good spot for a bag if you're gonna feed every day. I was pretty impressed with that ram pack bagger with a 12-foot cone on it. Last year they made a 10-foot bag for us a little bit. We had more tonnage this year, so they put the 12-foot cone on, and really nice looking bag. They were getting about 2.1 tons per foot. Maybe a little bit more cost efficient than building an extra silo. If this works out pretty good, it makes good feed. Really thankful for the yields we had. Get another maybe 1 scoop out, do a little shoveling, and then fold that up. We'll get some dirt put on it. feed this silage to the heifers. I already put 3 scoops down the heifer barn. Give the rest to them tomorrow.